Hello and welcome to the Mastering ePlan Part 1 course. This is a course on electrical engineering design, so it's a complete guide to electrical design and automation using the ePlan software. Just a disclaimer, we'll also be using the Siemens Semaris software design. To start off things, the course content contains introduction to the course and ePlan, page types, navigators, and management. Then it's followed by plot frames and forms, project design, power enclosure design, calculation, and then we round off things by doing some project management and documentation. The first section of the course is Introduction to the Course and ePlan. This is where I basically introduce you to the course, and then I do a review of a real case study, so basically a customer scope. I go through an overview of ePlan, where I show you the different functions in ePlan and the different ribbons and their purposes. And then I create a new ePlan project and we fill in the project design details. Then we finish this section by creating and using workspaces. So I show you how to create your own workspaces if you're using one monitor, two monitors, or many monitors. Then in the next section, we do page types, navigators, and management. We start off things in this section by creating ePlan structures. Then we do page types, move on to using navigators. Then I show you a bit of part management and layer management. So I show you how you can manage your parts and also how you can manage your layers. And the section after that, we create plot frames, we create cover page, designation page, color specification page, and enclosure label. We create the cover page, designation page, color specification, and enclosure label using the form, and we create the plot frame using plot frames. And the section after that is project design. So with project design, we'll add EDZ files and create parts. Like for example, I'll create a cable and show you guys how you can create your own cables. And then we'll select appropriate devices for the specific application. So basically for this application that we're building, for this specific customer, we need to select specific appropriate devices. Then we'll do cable design. So cable design will be done in Semaris software from Siemens. And then we'll also look into selectivity in terms of circuit breakers and trip caps. We'll also create the network configuration schematic. But to save time on this, what I'll do is that I'll create it in my own time. Then I'll share it with you guys as a page macro and show you guys how I actually created this network configuration schematic. And then we'll look at the cable design. And from the Siemens Semaris software, one of the outputs that we can get there is an output, which is a DWG file. And this DWG file, we'll use it to create the ground schematic. And in the section after that, what we will do is that we'll create our enclosure. So for the power panel, we'll create the enclosure in terms of multi-line schematics. And then we'll create the 2D layout in terms of mounting panel and in terms of mounting any components that are required on the door of the panel. And then we'll move on to calculations, where basically we'll calculate the heat of the enclosure. So the heat of the enclosure that we're using, which is the power panel, we'll calculate how much heat is being accumulated in that panel. And we'll also calculate the weight of that panel. So basically we'll sum up all the components inside the panel, including the panel itself, and then get a total of the weight of the panel. And in the last section, we'll do some project management and documentation. With project management and documentation, we'll basically create the enclosure door label so that the people who work and operate in this specific plant can actually see what this specific panel is for. And then we'll generate reports. With the reports, we'll generate, for example, table of content, we'll generate parts list, cable overview, and etc. Then we'll also do backup of the project, and then I'll show you how you can restore the project once you have backed it up. We'll also export the project, so the project that we'll design in ePlan, we'll export it to PDF, and I'll show you the difference between exporting it to PDF and printing it to PDF. And we'll finally conclude this section by doing some comments. So we'll make some comments in ePlan, maybe for our senior engineer or maybe for the customer. So basically, just to give you an overview of what we will be doing, I have different and various documentations, PDF documentations, and I can show you guys just to give you an insight. So the first document that I have here, this is from NF-Click Robots. So we will be doing a project for NF-Click Robots. And this project we'll be doing is for the Z-Lift variant 1.6i Sportline. So as you can see here, this is the project scope that they've provided us with. So we'll read through this project scope and I'll highlight the important things about this project scope. And then we'll create our structures in ePlan. After creating the project in ePlan, we'll create our structures for the various sections that are needed in this project. So I'll show you guys how you can create your own structures. And then I'll also detail what's the difference in page types. So there's multiple page types that you can use in ePlan. So I will detail the difference between various page types. And then we'll go to navigators and I'll entail the difference between the various navigators. So we have device navigators, we have bill of material, cable navigators, we have terminal navigators. So I'll detail information about which one to use, which one is better, and which one is more important, if that is a thing. And then we'll also create some plot frames. So we want to create our own plot frame. We don't want to use the plot frame that ePlan provides. So we will create our own plot frame. So I'll show you guys how you can create your own plot frame. And then also I'll show you guys how you can create your own cover page. So we'll create our own cover page. You can see here I have my company's logo here, which is Amrish Robots. So I have that logo there. Maybe you can put your own company's logo as well. And then we'll do some designation. So we will do some designation system. This is a form page which details what page is maybe, for example, the Earth layout, and it also details what page is the PLC overview. It details in terms of terminal strips. So before mains, we use X0, and it also details how you can label your cables. We'll also do a color specification form. So basically with the color specification form, we'll just detail in terms of the guys who are wiring this panel, they need to use for the main circuit, red, white, and blue. And also with your bootlace ferrules, so your wire ends, which ones are related to the colors. And then we'll also create an enclosure label like this one, which has all the current and the voltage ratings, and it also has the IP ratings. And also we'll look at the material list. So NF-Click Robots has a preferred electrical material list, so and manufacturers. For example, with terminals, they prefer us to use Phoenix. With earth and ground circuit breakers, they prefer us to use Siemens and so forth. So we'll look at this documentation as well and also look at how we can select components. And then we'll move on. In Siemens Symmeris software design, we'll create this ground layout. So basically we'll create this whole layout on how each panel is connected to each other, and then we can do some selectivity. And then after that, we'll move on to creating our network layout. So I'll provide you guys with a network layout similar to this one, and you can see how I created it. And then we'll also do the enclosure layout. So basically this is the outside of the enclosure with maybe a disconnection switch there. You can see that our panel light is mounted there at the top, and the document holder for the electrical drawings. You can see the holder right there. And you can see the C-rail to hold our cables in place. So we'll do this panel layout. This is for the outside, and we'll do also on the mounting plate inside the panel. And then we'll also do some heat calculations. So we'll do heat calculations using Ritotherm. So Ritotherm will output us and also inform us which components to select in terms of cooling down our panel. For example, maybe they will say we need to include a fan, or maybe we need to include an aircon, or maybe our panel is just fine, we don't need to include anything. And then with rounding off things, I'll also include reports. So we'll generate our own reports. For example, here, we'll generate the cable overview, parts list, revision overview, summarize part list, table of content, terminal diagram, and the cover page. So that's what we will do in this course. And I hope you guys will enjoy this course, and I hope it will give you more information, not just over ePlan or Siemens Symmeris software design, but it will give you more information and more insight on how to design a project. And then the last thing that I want to just put out there as a disclaimer is that the course presented under this instructors profile that are demonstrated on how to use ePlan electrical are solely the work of the instructor and are not endorsed or approved nor certified by ePlan or any other manufacturer spoken about. The instructor also does not sell any products or is not an official representative of any electrical products. The instructor is not promoting any manufacturer over other manufacturers, but the instructor uses certain manufacturers only because the instructor has experience with these manufacturers. So you will see I always use Siemens. I prefer using Siemens only because I have more experience with using Siemens parts. So it's not that I'm a Siemens representative or a Siemens salesperson. For patches of ePlan, official training on how to use ePlan, official certificate and/or for official support, please feel free to contact the owner or manufacturers of ePlan. So basically you can just contact them there and send your request and they will definitely give you an answer. So anyways, stay tuned and I hope you will enjoy this course and I'll see you inside.